Building the ultimate storage is one of the best moves you can make in Valheim to aid your progression and avoid a chest monster that eats at your time and soul, preventing you from having the best looking base around. So I'm going to show you how to build this. The system I've devised is quite beginner friendly and can be made immediately using only wood and coal. This storage system is divided into two parts, the chests and the signs, and they are both separate. First we build the signs and position the text using them. Then we will build the chests so that they perfectly match up with the text, and bam, amazing storage that is fully and clearly labelled without any annoying signs that you may accidentally click on. This also works on all types of chests and pretty much anything you may wish to label neatly. The first decision to make is how many chests you want and what is going in them. I have a list of items in Valheim sorted into groups that I'll link below in a Google Sheet. I like to have multiple groups of chests that match what they'll be used for. For me, these are portal chests, a group of 8 chests where your ammunition, food, potions, fishing gear and portal materials are kept, placed close to regularly used portals for convenient access. Forge chests, which simply hold the metals. For me, I like to place these above my forge. Crafting chests filled with pretty much all materials used in crafting, built as one large wall quite close to the forge, but also your workbench. Ingredients chests for cooking, placed near your cauldron and spits. Bulk storage, which are usually reinforced or black metal chests holding large amounts of base building materials such as wood and stone. And finally, trophies and treasure. I like to have these close to or in the bedroom area, often making a display with the gold as it's collected over time. There are other items not included in these, such as armour, weapons, tools, and such that are either displayed on armour stands or kept in a big chest at the foot of your bed, as well as tree seeds kept at a tree farm and other food farming seeds kept at their respective farms. To help plan out your chests and do all of the maths that this system requires for you, I have made a simple to use Google Sheet where you can write out your chest names. All you need to do is make a copy of the blank sheet for each of your chest walls, then type in your chest names. Each sheet allows you to plan a chest wall of up to 4 chests high and 20 wide. You don't need to fill every chest if you want gaps in your wall for say your workbench and more. Each chest can have up to 4 lines of text, though 4 lines is only really supported on standard wooden chests, with a recommendation of no more than 3 lines on black metal and the backside of reinforced chests, and 2 lines on the front of reinforced chests. This is largely for looks. The planner allows you to dictate the size and colour of the text on individual chests, full columns or overall. When you've finished planning on the sheet, you'll see at the bottom are snippets of code. You can simply copy and paste these onto the signs to add the chosen effects and positioning to the text. This all works due to the v-offset function on signs. V-offset allows us to move the vertical positioning of the text on the sign, and we can move it quite far. In v-offset, 40 is around 1 meter in game. I've noted through trial and error all of the position numbers required for moving the text to match perfectly with all types of chests and allowing for multiple lines, and then made this planner using that data. This is achieved through a standard way of placing both the signs and chests. With the storage planned, it's building time. First, build the shelving you will build your chests onto. This is purely for positioning of the chests, so if you would prefer to hold up the chests using core wood vertically through them or even merged into a stone wall, you can do that after and just remove those shelves once complete and your chests are supported by something else. The planner allows for 20 columns, but these don't need to be side by side or even anywhere close to each other. The code works per column, so feel free to do some crazy hexadecagonal storage room, it'll be fine. This shelving also needs to include the floor level if you are building on stone, as placing a chest on a stone floor snapped to the same position as a wooden floor places the chest lower and so the text won't match perfectly. You should also make sure to select the floor type below the storage in the planner, as this dictates how many signs you can fit into the first 1 meter space in the floor to prevent any signs being visible. Next, check the amount of signs you'll need per column. You can see this by simply counting the rows of code in the planner at the bottom. If you only need 3 or 4 signs, and depending on floor type, you'll only need access to 1 meter below the final floor level. If 4 or more for stone or 5 or more for wood, you'll need 2 meters of access below the final floor level. If it's ground beneath the floor, you'll need to dig away the space. A trench half and half in front and below the storage will work fine. If your column needs more than 3 signs for stone flooring or 4 for wood, build 2 1 meter wooden walls snapping to the floor level shelf edge and going down. Otherwise just 1. For the 2 meter, build a wooden floor snapped to the bottom of the lowest wall, Then free place 7 more floors on top of it so that they phase at least a little into the 1 meter high wall. Then snap another floor to the bottom of the top 1 meter wall, and free place either 2 floors if stone floor or 3 if wood on top of that. Now it's time to place the signs. Get nice and close to the wall, facing it, and make sure the sign is facing the correct way. Use the central vertical line of the wooden meter wall as a guide and move your cursor downward until the sign goes from placing onto the wall to placing onto the floor. Build the sign as close to that transition as possible onto the floor. Next, delete the floor, then this time do that again, except you want this next sign to be phased within the first, but very slightly visible on the front. If you move it back and forth a few times, you can see the markings at the top of the sign come through the texture of the first one. To get this very close, phase it so you can see the 3 diamonds from both the first and second sign, then build. Repeat this process of deleting a floor and placing the next sign until you have placed enough signs for that column and move on to the next. Keep the remaining floors below for now, as you may wish to split the text further to multiple lines, so having the floor still there will make adding additional signs far easier. You could also add more signs to future-proof the setup. Once all of your signs are in place, you can now start copy-pasting the code from the planner. Simply start on the first column and hover over the very top of the first sign, and copy-paste the code from the top left cell of the planner output with code in it. After that, slowly move your cursor down to find the next sign. They are all very close together, and if you place them correctly, you should be able to reach the top few millimeters of each sign. It's at this stage you'll want to periodically look up and double check all of the text is correctly placed in front of the shelving. Some errors may occur, such as too long of text for the size determined, which will cause the text to split and send it way higher than it should. You can fix this by either splitting multiple word lines into multiple lines or lowering the text size. Both of these can be done in the planner, though note that changes will regenerate the code for those affected, and so the change column will likely need to be re-copy pasted from top to bottom, but this takes seconds. Another issue that can occur is hitting the character limit, meaning that having a V offset, size, color, and font weight setup is too much for a single sign and will likely result in broken code, so play about with it to find your balance. Things like italics, strike through, and underline only take up 3 characters for the whole tag, so these can be used generously with little negative effect. V offset is the only fully required tag in this system. Now your floating text is fully sorted and you are happy with it and the spacing, you can close up the floor and start building your chests. One note is that if your flooring is stone, that top 1 meter high wall will poke through slightly, but you need something touching the signs in order to support them. This can be any supporting piece touching any of the signs, and they will all support each other. The simplest way I find is to just phase a wooden beam through the signs from either the ground behind or a vertical one from below. This is a very easy thing to sort out, just make sure they are supported by something before you delete that top 1 meter wall. For building your chest, you will just want to get as close as possible and as slowly as possible move the chest front to back until the text goes from being inside the chest to in front of it. The closer you get the chest to the text, the more perfect it will look from all angles. Having the text too far in front will make it look like it's all over the place from different perspectives. You'll also need to judge it by eye for left to right positioning of the chest to ensure the text is horizontally positioned. One large thing of note is that if you are building reinforced or black metal chests, they are so much larger than standard chests that lower ones will poke through the shelf above it, preventing the placing of a chest. But it is easy to work around this. You simply have to build from top to bottom, so make sure you don't spend ages perfectly placing them only to have to redo it from top to bottom. With all of your chests in place, you should have a pretty dang amazing looking storage system, fit for any server. The last thing to take care of if they annoy you are the shelves. For black metal this is quite easy, as they are so large that they will likely be phasing into the wood or stone wall behind them when placed on shelves of 1 meter depth. That phasing counts as the wall supporting the chest, at which point you can very carefully remove the shelves and they'll be fine, though it is tricky to remove them due to the angles required for the lower, but it is possible. To do this with reinforced chests, I would suggest shifting these shelves back in the first place by 1/4 of a meter. You can do this by using the small door build piece. These doors have 3 meter depth snap points and are 1/2 meter thick. This allows you to use those snapping points to shift building parts very precisely, without the need to rely on awful free placement, which can cause great issues later with large scale builds. Moving the shelving back 1/4 of a meter or 1/2 a door depth back will have the reinforced shelves built with this system phased very slightly into the wall behind it, enabling you to remove the shelves after without further chest support. You can shift it back by half a meter or the door's full depth to do the same for standard chests. Another method you may wish to employ, which I'm a fan of, which also allows for freestanding chest walls, is to use core wood poles. Phasing a core wood pole vertically through your chest after will support all the chests it phases through, giving you a super clean look. I'd love to see the builds you come up with using this system. We have a Valheim images channel in the Zane's World Discord for showing off builds and screenshots. I'd also love to hear of anything in Valheim you are uncertain of, or would like explored. I'm working on a number of other Valheim guides, but it's certainly possible I've not noticed something that is plaguing the player base, so please let me know below. Thanks and have a fantastic day, folks.